This is her 6th project in the Competent Communication Manual. Her time is 5 to 7 minutes. Her speech title is Ornithophobia. Ornithophobia. Please welcome Anette.
Ornithophobia. Not only is it difficult to say, but it almost sounds made up. But it isn't. Most people don't consider birds very scary. Unfortunately, I don't include myself in most people. Most people aren't scared of tiny beep beep beeps or the rustling of feathers. As far back as I can remember, I've always been terrified of birds. Small birds, large birds, cute birds, ugly birds, they're all scary and very ominous to me. The phobia is something that has put me in several kind of ridiculous situations over the years. The thought of a bird touching me, flying or fluttering near, is not something I relish. I know, you probably consider this very silly. I do. But that doesn't mean that birds are any less scary to me or terrifying. I even spent the money to go to several different seminars about facing your fears. And one of these, when we got to that point, I ended up finding this man with a parrot, and I walked up to him of my own free will and reached out and petted this parrot. I even picked it up and held it for what seemed an eternity to me and was mere seconds. Well, to no avail. I still don't have the desire to have that experience ever again, or to hold a bird or be near them. I still fear birds or run as far away as I can and go to ridiculous lengths to stay away. My poor best friend, she traveled through Europe with me, and of course we had several bird episodes, and she just about abandoned me at La Piazza in Venice when I, for the 50th time, just dug into her arm and pushed her in front of me to make sure that she was between me and the scary pigeons. The city plaza. Several years ago, when my youngest was a couple of months old, I was getting ready to go to Salt Lake with my 4 kids, and I'd left the door open as small children and babies require a lot of extra gear, so I could carry it back and forth. All the diapers, the extra food, clothes, strollers, etc. Well, I was carrying her in her car seat, and my 2-year-old was toddling in front of me, and in come this scary bird flying over our heads as I just grabbed my 2-year-old's hand and dived for the car and closed all the doors and locked them. As my heart is pounding, and I'm just sitting, finally I catch my breath and realize that the door to the house is still open, and there's a giant bird inside, and there is nothing that can convince me to go back in the house with myself or my babies. But then I realize that I have my 7- and 8-year-old in the car with me. And so as the brave, protective mom that I am, I go ahead and send my 7- and 8-year-old in about the bird. Well, about 5 minutes later, my 7-year-old comes out. He's proudly and gently carrying this martin in his hands, so happy that he saved his mom and little sisters. One of my other proud moments as an ornithophobia basically means to be completely irrationally afraid of birds, was when I was watching a friend's car while she was out of town. After parking the car, as I'm walking around it, there are all these attacked starlings. So I hide behind the car, and I had this bright idea to pick up a rock to, I figure I could maybe kill some of these birds with a rock. Well, I'm not a great basketball player, nor do I hit things very well when with objects. So as soon as the rock leaves my hand, I realize what a horrific idea this is. And I watch in slow motion as the rock misses all of the birds and goes right through my friend's back window. And it does what car windows do. We're supposed to do. It explodes into a million gazillion pieces, which somewhat stressed me out when I started to call around and realized that her back window was not a stock window. And it took a couple of days for me to finally find a place and have them ship in a new windshield that was installed right before she got back into town. So anytime I'm feeling high and mighty or start to disconnect with reality, my children all know that all they need to do is say, "That's okay, Mom, as long as you don't throw rocks at birds." Even though some of our fears and quirks don't always make sense, I suppose that all of us have in one way or another something like an Achilles heel to keep us grounded and real. I hope yours doesn't fly in your face every time you turn around a corner. Thank you.
Please take a moment and send Annette a note. I was laying there on the ground looking up at these two skiers scooting by me and huffing and puffing and lamenting the fact that I spent close to $1,000 on ski equipment to learn how to ski. Not sure if I was going to like it or not. And at that moment, thought that was probably the hardest thing I'd ever learned how to do in my life. Well, my friend John was very patient with me and continued to work with me, and after 4 or 5 lessons, I finally started to figure out the skiing thing, bit by bit by bit. And I have to say it probably saved my life in a lot of ways, because at that point in time, after retiring from basketball, I was really struggling with not being able to do much physically, and skiing was one thing that I could do. And got the clearance from the back doctor at that point in time to do it, and continue to learn how to do it better and better. Over time, it became a lot of fun. So now my claim to fame is that I am part of the Ralph's Coffee Ski Club, and this is our ski day. So I ski with all these guys that were either ski instructors or a couple of them were ski racers. We meet at the North Side Lift at 8:45 Deer Valley. We ski from 8:50 when the lift opens until about 10:30, pretty hard and fast, and then we go to coffee, and then we talk about our skiing, and then we go home. Table topics. Fred Rubenfeld has spent time on snow from New York to New Zealand and from Alaska to